Hello, basketball fans, and welcome into our first ever AHN High School Hoops recap show presented by Gecko. Alongside former Duquesne head coach and color commentator Ron Everhart, I am Darren Zaslau, and over the next 30 minutes, we'll recap our fifth high school hoops season on 22 The Point, highlighting our top plays, players, and the moments that made this year special. We'll also bring you a playoff preview. Ron, great to have you, man. What an awesome season it was, right?
Man, it was an awesome season, and it's so good to be here. I got an opportunity to get reacquainted with the ultra-competitive WPIAL basketball, and it was just so cool getting reconnected with a lot of the legendary coaches that have been mainstays here in the coaching world for a long time, and it was just so fun to watch those guys work again. And very exciting. Well,
you are one of those legendary coaches from your Duquesne days, so Pittsburgh is very happy to have you back, Coach. Let's jump right into it. We're going to rewind all the way back to week one. That featured a battle in 6A Section 1 as North Allegheny hosted North Hills. North Hills senior forward Nate Schombacher was named the Week 1 Gecko Player of the Game, scoring a game-high 28 points to eclipse 1,000 points in his career. He did so right here on 22 The Point, Coach. Awesome moment.
Awesome moment. You know, probably as fine a moment as any young player could ever hope for. But Schombacher's one of those guys that's just he scores in bunches, you know, and he could go 2 or 3 minutes and disappear, then all of a sudden the next 3 minutes, you know, he has 16 points. You know, it's just amazing how skilled he is, how well he can score, and just has that innate knack to get that basketball protected from the defender and get it in the basket. I think he probably will lead the WPIAL, if I'm not mistaken, in the old-fashioned three-point plays because he loves contact around the rim.
He's a phenomenal player. Let's take a look at North Hills' postseason outlook, Coach. They'll face 11th-seeded Amani Christian in the first round on Monday. Winner faces third-ranked Central Catholic. Coach, what do you think the Indians have to do to have success in the playoffs, knowing that a potential battle with Central Catholic is right around the corner?
Well, first of all, North Hills is trending. You know, these guys are a very well-oiled machine. I think they had some issues early in the year, you know, defining people's roles, but they've got Buzz Gabus, you know, and Buzz Gabus is an unbelievable coach. I mean, he has the ability to just piece together, you know, every year he's there because of the way he wants his teams to play, his style of play. He's as good an offensive coaching mind as there is around here. And he's got Long and Schombacher playing so well together right now that they are going to be a very, very tough out. These guys are playing well right now.
You're 100% right. In week 2, we saw a great game in 5A Section 3 between Peters Township and Thomas Jefferson. The Jaguars dominated and got the win 77-54 behind 24 points from our week 2 Gecko Player of the Game, Nick Turkala. And Ron, it was a game that Nick Turkala and Justin Fry, two-headed monster, took over.
They really did, Darren. And Coach DeSico is one of those guys. Like he's been around for a long time. He's had a lot of really good teams. We talked quite a bit before the game, and he puts a lot of emphasis on fast break basketball. And with his personnel, he's just basically tailored his basketball team to his personnel. You got Justin Fry, who's an elite level playmaker, an elite level defender who makes so much happen on the defensive end. These guys are the epitome of watching a high school team that can turn offense, make their defense turn into offense on a consistent basis. Maybe the best transition team I've seen all year, college or high school. And of course, Turkle is so skilled. He's a 6'7" elevated shooter. Another guy in the WPIAL that's a big league college prospect. Along with Long, Schombacher. These guys are real college prospects.
Elite. Thomas Jefferson, coach, is the 5A Section 3 champ, finishing a perfect 12-0 in league play. They end the year 20-2 overall. They get the 3rd seed. They'll play the winner of Greater Latrobe and Mars on Tuesday. And coach, I think the Jaguars are a team that nobody will want to face in the playoffs, and that includes top-seeded Chartiers Valley and 2nd-seeded Lincoln Park, your top dogs.
Oh, I agree totally. Now, I haven't seen those teams play. But I think from a style of play standpoint, they are built, and I mean really built for playoff basketball, because this is a team, when you walk out there and play, in the playoffs, you would hope to play a team whose style is, hey, we can prepare for you. Mm-hmm. You're not preparing for these guys. you can't simulate what they do in practice. And that's what I think makes them so dangerous in the WPIAL playoffs. And in my estimation, I think they're one of those teams that not only can, get through the WPIALs, but they could make a deep run in the PIAAs.
And on the other side, Peters Township finished in second place in 5A Section 3, going 16-6 overall, 10-2 in the league. The Indians are the number 7 seed. They'll face 10th seeded Hampton in the first round. And Ron, PT can make some noise behind one of Pittsburgh's best shooters in Dylan Donovan. We love him.
Dylan Donovan is just a tough kid who can really shoot the basketball, and he's relentless. I used to coach a kid named J.J. Barea at Northeastern, and he reminds me of J.J. because he's always coming at you. He's always on the attack. He's always looking to score. And when you're a defense, whether you're in transition or you're a set defense, you have to know where he is because he's got deep range. And he's a guy who's a game-changing shooter. And, I think a guy like Joe Ehrman just uses him so well and puts him into the right position at the right time.
And also Dylan Donovan, Peters Township's all-time leading scorer. Wanted to mention that as well. When we come back, we'll break down where other 5A and 6A front-runners stand, that being the Gateway Gators and the Newcastle Red Hurricanes. That is coming up next on our High School Hoops Recap Show, brought to you by Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine and Get-Go Cafe and Market. Welcome back to our first ever AHN High School Hoops Recap Show presented by Get-Go. Alongside former Duquesne head coach and color commentator Ron Everhart, I'm Darren Zaslau here to break down Season 5 of high school basketball on 22 The Point and preview the upcoming playoffs. Coach, Week 3 featured a 6A Section 1 clash in what we call basketball country as Newcastle squared off on the road with Butler. Red Hurricanes got 15 points from the Week 3 Get-Go player of the game, Damian Harrison, and a real nice performance as well from star freshman Marino Graham to cruise past the Golden Tornado 60-33. Newcastle fell to Upper St. Clair in the WPIAL Finals last year, and Ron, this year's roster has all the makings of another championship contending team under longtime head coach Ralph Blundow, one of the best in the business.
Coach Blundow's got an absolute powerhouse. These guys are, they're older, they've got some experience, they've got one of those teams that's very, very deep and they keep coming at you, which teams like that are built for playoff basketball. And of course, their freshman point guard is certainly as good as any freshman WPIAL basketball player I've ever seen. And, I'm going back to the T.J. McConnell days when I recruited T.J. It was like, hey, this kid's a great freshman. He's going to be a great player. And when you look out there and see this young man, you kind of think the same way.
Newcastle's postseason outlook. 14-time champion Red Hurricanes. They enter the 6A playoffs as the number 2 seed. They're winners of Section 1, went 21-1 overall. 13-1 conference record. Only blemish was the Pine Richland. They'll face the winner of Monday's 7-10 play-in game between Mount Lebanon coach and guess who? Pine Richland. Do you think this team can go all the way and reach its 3rd championship game in 4 years?
I think without question. And I know Coach Blundow kind of said when we talked to him before the game that, he's had some other teams in the past that may have been a little more high-powered or had a little more depth or whatever, but I don't know that that's the case with the athleticism that group of guys possesses right now and the composure that they play with. I mean, these guys, man, they have no emotion. They just play. They make great plays. They're not out there chest bumping. They're just, hey, listen, let's go on to the next play. Make a bad play, hey, no, listen, no problem, on to the next play. Love their team, love their composure, and I love the way Coach Blundow has put these guys into roles where they really, really, I guess, perform at a very, very high level on a consistent basis. Now, I will say kudos to Coach McNeese at Pine Richland, man. He got those guys rolling. They're playing well, and they're playing well late. Their center, the 6'9" guy, is blocking shots, running the floor, doing a great job for him, and he's doing an absolutely wonderful job there too. So it's not going to be easy, but I think you're going to see Newcastle not only as a WPIAL champion, but I'm going to say that they're going to make a very deep run in the PIAAs, and I expect to see them in Hershey.
Speaking of a team with championship hopes, in Week 4 we got to see Gateway clashing with Uniontown. Gators rolled to their first 5A Section 1 title in 3 years, rolling 63-42. Mikel Bruce McCroman, MBM, threw down not one, not two, but 3 dunks, had 22 points, and was named the Week 4 Get-Go Player of the Game. Ron, he put on a show. He has a Division I offer already from Iona, and I think that's just the start for MBM.
A Division I offer from Iona has had several Atlantic 10 schools come in to see him, including Duquesne. I think is a no-brainer, big-time college prospect. I know with the new transfer portal, the college guys are going to say, well, you know, he's got to get stronger, blah, blah, blah. We got to put him in prep school and all that. That's not the case. This young man is very fast. For his size, he's very skilled. He's an elevated jump shooter at 6'6". So when he goes and plays with the shot clock, and the shot clock runs out and things break down offensively, which they always do, he's a guy walking in the door wherever he goes to school where you can hand that guy the ball and say, listen, man, we're going to get you the ball. You're going to go get us a shot. He can do that very effectively. And he's terrific in transition. The thing I love about McCroman the best is he has no emotion. You know, the guy just plays basketball. You know, and he's a great teammate. You can see that in the huddle. He's a really good leader. You know, he can get on guys. They have 6 seniors on that team. So if people are sleeping on Gateway, they shouldn't, because these guys are really, really good, and they've got a chance to go a long way.
First-year head coach Vernon Benson has done a great job with the Gators. They earned the number 5 seed. They'll take on number 12 Indiana in the first round on Tuesday. So, Ron, what do you think will be the biggest challenge for Gateway in the playoffs? For starters, they could have a second-round meeting with 4th-seeded Moon, and then they would have to beat top-ranked Chartiers Valley in the semifinals. It's a tough road.
It's a tough road, and obviously Char Valley is very, very good. I haven't seen them play, but I've heard a lot of great things about Char Valley this year and how high-powered they are, both offensively, and they've got a great defense. But I think with Gateway is the fact that they've got 6 seniors. And I'll keep coming back to that because you just don't see that in high school basketball much anymore. And when you do, and those kids are all on the same page, they function at a high level, they've got a great leader, they've got a big-time college prospect, you know, those guys are going to be a tough out. I don't care who they play. You can play them zone, you can play them man. We watched Mikel Bruce McCroman have 2 big league dunks playing above the square against zones. And I mean, you know, he's driving the ball against zone. I mean, that's hard to do. But he's a kid that makes things look easy that are hard to do, and that's why I think they're really going to be a tough out.
It's going to be exciting to watch, without a doubt. When we come back, we will recap the Route 19 Rumble that went down to the wire in the South Hills last week between back-to-back defending Whitfield champion Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon. That is next on our High School Hoops recap show, brought to you by Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine and Get-Go Cafe and Market. Welcome back to our first ever AHN High School Hoops recap show presented by Get-Go. Alongside former Duquesne head coach and color commentator Ron Everhart, I'm Darren Zaslau, here to break down Season 5 of high school basketball on 22 The Point and preview the upcoming playoffs. Last Friday marked our final week of the regular season. Week 5 featured, in our opinion, the best basketball rivalry right here in Western Pennsylvania. The Route 19 Rumble, Mount Lebanon hosting back-to-back defending Whitfield champion Upper St. Clair, the top-ranked team in 6A, 4th-ranked team in the state. Coach, it was a game that went down to the wire. Panthers edged the Blue Devils 46-43 to clinch a share of the 6A Section 2 title with Central Catholic and earn the number 1 seed in 6A, perhaps most importantly. Coach, it was an electric atmosphere. And of course, the head coaching matchup was incredible as well.
Yes,
Danny Holzer, 31 years as head coach at USC. Joe David, 25 years head coach at Mount Lebanon, facing each other for the 54th time ever.
And, you know, it might as well have been the first time. I mean, these guys were coaching with as much energy and you know, bringing the kind of environment, energy into that arena as they, I'm sure they did in their 20s. And these guys are phenomenal. And it was another great chess match, an ultra-competitive game, a complete rock fight that went down to the wire, and a very interesting ending. You know, Coach David went to the stall game late. They got a great shot that they just missed. Upper St. Clair was able to come away with the rebound, get it down the floor, and up by 2, Mocheski decides not to score, get fouled, has to go to the line, make 2 free throws to ice the game for Upper St. Clair. But a terrific game, and one that, as a regular basketball fan, from my perspective, you'll remember for a long time.
Such a cool atmosphere as Upper St. Clair's 4th consecutive win over Mount Lebanon as well. USC was led in scoring by the sharp-shooting Jake Foster. Totaled a game-high 18 points. I want to talk about him, Coach, because, man, that kid can shoot the lights out of the gym.
A great high school basketball player and a really good college prospect. Coach Holzer has given him the basketball, so to speak, and allowed him to be their team leader, control their offense, and because he's such a tough kid and a good player, he controls their defense as well, which is very, very good. But, on the offensive end, it seems like every time there's a play to be made, he's involved. Whether it's a loose ball on the floor, whether it's taking a charge on defense, whether it's making a deep 3 to extend the defense, or making a drive and a kick or a drop-off to help facilitate his team win a basketball game. And then, of course, they have the big guy, Robbins, inside. And he's just an absolute tank. And he creates a situation for Upper St. Clair that's so unique in high school basketball. You've got an NFL offensive lineman probably, future guy, holding down your middle in high school. So they're a very tough team to play against. But Mount Lebo's got a really good basketball team, and they're going to be very dangerous in this tournament as well.
Let's start with Upper St. Clair's road back to the Pete, Coach. They're not going to have to face number 2 Newcastle or number 3 Central Catholic until the finals, which is huge for the Panthers. They're going to take on the winner of number 8 Fox Chapel and number 9 Norwin in the quarterfinals coming up on Thursday. Question to you, who or what could stop the Panthers from the 3-peat at the Pete?
I think the biggest thing is if they were to run up against a team that had a great rim protector, that could neutralize Robbins around the rim. They had a guard like a Newcastle that could bother Foster a little bit. And they get out and run like a TJ and are really good in transition where maybe Upper St. Clair couldn't help facilitate that in practice. But Upper St. Clair's got depth. They've got kids that have come off their JV team that have played in very meaningful minutes this year, that have made really important baskets to help them win very important games. And when you have a team like that, where you've got your role players coming off the bench that make you that good, you're going to be very, very dangerous. So Upper St. Clair is going to be right there. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah, they have not 1 but 2 targets on their back, if you will, for those 2 back-to-back championships. On the other side, Mount Lebanon gets the number 7 seed. They're going to take on number 10 Pine Richland in the first round on Monday. Liam Sheely leads the Blue Devils with 18 points per game. He's going to have to continue his hot shooting in the playoffs against the Rams, who, by the way, upset Newcastle this year. So my question to you, Ron, is Liam Sheely the key for Lebo to make a deep run in the postseason?
Without a question, and I'll tell you the reason why. Without having seen Pine Richland play, I know Coach McNeese pretty well. He does a tremendous job, and I know he's got an elite-level rim protector at Pine Richland. And Mount Lebo is going to have to make him come away from the basket, which having a guy like Sheely will allow Coach David to do. And Joe David is one of those guys who, he thrives, and he has for many years, in really creating a system designed to his personnel. And when he gets Sheely out there, who's one of the very rare guys in high school basketball, he's big, he's long, he's an elevated shooter off the dribble, and not very many guys can make three-point shots as consistently as Sheely can, let alone off the dribble. So I think Sheely's another one of those guys, when it translates to college, he scores when the shot clock runs down. So he's going to be a major factor in Mount Lebo's success.
And how about the fact that Mount Lebanon is the team that played Upper St. Clair the toughest, not once but twice, among any team that they have faced all season long. And they also have some other good pieces. Carter Gold, very good shooting guard.
Very
Patrick Smith Jr., maybe one of the most athletic players we've seen all year.
He may be another guy who's going to play on Sundays in the NFL. He's a great quarterback, right?
6A Whitfield Football Player of the Year as well at the quarterback spot, going to Penn to play football as well at the Division I Ivy League level. Do you think the Blue Devils could be that 7-seed Cinderella?
From what I saw, absolutely. And I don't know if you look at all the classifications and take all the 7 seeds and put them in a bucket, that there's a better 7 seed than Mount Lebanon, and more parity, or there's no more parity than they certainly present as a 7 seed. And they're as competitive as anybody. So when you talk about how they matched up against the number 1 seed, it's pretty evident that they're going to have a chance to do very well in the WPIAL tournament.
And you got head coach Joe David. The man knows how to win.
The man, yeah.
University of Pittsburgh's own. When we come back, we'll announce our AHN Play of the Season, our Get-Go Player of the Year, and of course highlight our Burger and Green Scholar athletes. You won't want to miss it. That is next on our High School Hoops Recap Show. It's all brought to you by Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine and Get-Go Cafe Market. Welcome back to the first ever AHN High School Hoops Recap Show presented by Get-Go. I'm Darren Zaslau, joined by former Duquesne head coach and color commentator Ron Everhart. Special thank you to all of our sponsors who helped make this season possible for our viewers at home. Ron, let's start with this. The AHN Sports Medicine Play of the Year. What is it in your eyes? Drum roll, please.
There are so many great plays that we saw, but you almost have to say that, when Schombacher got his 1,000th point up at North Allegheny on the road, that was a pretty special moment. And after the game, the whole community kind of came out and embraced that young man, and he handled it so well. He seems like such a good kid, and you almost have to say that moment of all the games that we did had to be, whether it was the play of the best play we saw or not, it probably was the most special play that we saw all year.
An unforgettable moment. AHN Sports Medicine knows that no two athletes are alike, which is why they always deliver personalized plans. Call 412 Doctors to book with AHN Sports Medicine. Moving forward, Ron, who is your Get-Go Player of the Year? Get-Go, better believe it.
I tell you, Darren, that's a difficult one because, we saw so many really good college prospects in the WPIAL this year. But I think, when you come right down to it, the one college prospect on the best team with 6 seniors was Mikel Bruce McCroman from Gateway. And, he checks every box, man. He's athletic, he's tough, he's a great leader, he's a coach on the floor. He's an elevated scorer. I mean, there's just nothing that young man can't do. And then defensively, a lot of times you watch him and it looks like he's just out there. Then all of a sudden, man, he explodes and makes a play on the ball. And all of a sudden, like we saw, he's on the other end with his elbows above the rim, smashing it through. So, you got to think that's Mikel was probably, in my opinion, your player of the year.
Congrats to Nate Schombacher, our Player of the Year, and to Mikel Bruce McCroman, our Player of the Year. And a special thank you to Burger and Green, our Scholar Athlete sponsor and Scholar Athlete of the Year sponsor. All of our high schools nominated one senior scholar athlete who thrives in their sport, in the classroom, and in the community. They are then entered to win a $5,000 scholarship to the college of their choosing, which is donated, of course, by Burger and Green, the injury and disability lawyers. Ron, I think it's so cool. We've gotten to surprise many student athletes at their high school with a $5,000 scholarship, and I know that you, as a former Division I coach at multiple institutions, Duquesne included, you value that scholar-athlete combination in a human.
Oh, you value it so much, and you can't thank a firm like Burger and Green enough, because what better way to impact your community or affect the lives of young people than to help them with their education? And I got to say that from my perspective, I'm an older basketball coach. I've done it for a long time, and when you get that phone call from that young man that says, "Hey, coach, man, I've never had a chance to say thank you, but you really affected my life positively." And you as a coach think back, well, these guys made it possible. And or this one particular donor of your institution made it possible, or this scholarship fund made it possible. That's invaluable. I mean, those are things that are life-changing for the people in this community, and you just can't thank them enough.
Coach, thank you again for being here, breaking everything down for us. We really appreciate it. And good luck to all teams in the playoffs. And thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning in all year. Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts for information regarding the live airing of a Whitfield semifinal game right here on 22 The Point during the final week of February. Until then, enjoy the postseason. For the coach, Ron Everhart, I'm Darren Zaslau. This has been your High School Hoops Recap Show, brought to you by Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine and Gecko Cafe and Market.